Yeah, right, okay.
The most gains you'll ever make are on a coin you got for free. If you can find free money, claim it. Try not to sell the bottom. If you're in a crap coin or a shit coin, there may not be a bottom. It might actually go to zero and not come back.
Yeah, alright mate, I'll catch you in the real world, I guess. Thanks again. Bloody hell, that was intense. G'day, Tom Gillespie here.
If you're in a good coin, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum,
I might turn that fucking thing off.
Of the crypto space, all down 85-95%. Don't sell the bottom.
Now it's off. G'day, Tom Gillespie here. I'm now exactly halfway through my Hex stake commitment of 1 year, and honestly it's been rather disappointing to watch. I must have staked at the all-time high or something. Not only did I make a muck-up of staking $5,000 instead of $500. Well, you never fucking said that I wasn't supposed to stake the whole bloody lot. I figured that was $500 worth. I've now seen the value of my Hex, if denominated in USD, fall 70%, which obviously production is not very happy about. Even if my stake has yielded 932 Hex, according to a Staker app, or whatever the bloody website was called. And I know what you Hexicans are going to say. Longer pays better. And I know that. But this particular investigation is already taking forever, and it's just 1 year old. Nobody's going to wait around for 15 years for a fucking documentary investigation to conclude. And honestly, I'll be surprised if the majority of stakers will still be around in 15 years to reap their rewards. And maybe that's the point. Eventually people will just early end stake, like we're seeing recently. Or perhaps they'll sell their stakes as NFTs, which is what this controversial Hedron thing allows for. While I did claim my Hedron, I'm not planning to sell it as an NFT. As of now, I don't see the value in doing so. When it comes to the Hexican community though, I estimate there to be about a few hundred daily active users, perhaps less, and of those there's maybe 30 or 40 bigger players that maintain the community to any meaningful level. That said, they are largely comprised of nice people, but there are a few rotten eggs amongst them. And to those people I say, chill out. My bags are with yours. Why would I shit on my own bags if I wanted to see what it takes to become a Hexican? I was invited to a Telegram group a few weeks back, and it's given me another perspective on the Hex community. I now see there is a consistent, organised, preemptive effort to control the online narrative by having Hexicans push out content and game the SEO, so that any FUD is quickly resolved by the Hexicans themselves. I assume in an effort to make sure any scam conversation online is largely dominated by the Hexican community, in an effort to drown out any organic search and sow conversation around the potential for Hex to be a scam. Whether this strategy is being orchestrated from the top down or bottom up, I don't know. But Richard has always been very vocal within the Hex is a scam narrative. And speaking of the Kingmaker himself, I finally got my interview, the final piece of the puzzle in my investigation that will allow me to really get stuck into post-production. While it was a somewhat revealing interview, I felt he did simply regurgitate his usual script, and unfortunately I came away from the meeting feeling none the wiser. Regarding my Pulse sacrifice, I'm still awaiting the results, as that Pulse is yet to launch, and for those of you that are shitting on my sacrifice of $700 dues, suggesting it's way too little, there are numerous Hexicans that have suggested just $100 would have set me up for life. So in theory, my sacrifice should set me up for 7 lives. At the halfway point, I currently am holding Hex, or B shares, that represent Hex. PulseX, which is supposed to be a decentralized exchange token thing on Pulse Chain. I'm a little confused on the utility just now. I've claimed Hedron, which is supposed to allow me to sell my stake as an NFT, but I won't be doing that as I'm committed to the entire 1 year stake. I own no Pulse, and production are not showing signs of supporting me in that way any longer, so, you know, if you woke up on the right side of the bed, feel free to send me some Pulse if you want. Not sure how, but Tom Gillespie signing out. Cheers. Well, yeah, I think that went pretty okay. fucking prompter's fucking with me a bit, but... Oh yeah, and one more thing. I've come to realise that those underlying value propositions, the immutability, the censorship resistance aspects of the crypto fake bang on about, well, you simply can't have any of that without decentralization, without that core principle in place. All you have with 99% of these crypto projects is the continuous empowerment of a select group of individuals that got in before everybody else. Hexicans bang on endlessly about the fundamental values of Hex, but from what I've come to learn, as with almost all crypto projects, is if there is any doubt as to who controls a given coin supply, or if there is any room for manipulation by a benevolent god whale or whales, then it's simply capitalism as usual, only with a heap more efficiencies baked in and a distinct lack of accountability for anyone that can be observed partaking in whale-like behaviour. AKA, not decentralised. Now, whether or not you care about these principles of the blockchain technology or are happy playing in someone else's casino-like place, it's entirely up to you. But I think the ultimate disclaimer that the entire industry should have slapped across it is that of this product is very decentralised, although we cannot say how decentralised due to regulators potentially reaching into our bags and A, shutting us down, or B, and heaven help us if this happens, taxing us. When it comes to Hex, at the halfway point of my investigation, I'm becoming increasingly convinced the market is being both built and played at the same time. But by who? My theory? By both community developers designing clever ways to bring value and the ever-ready early adopters. The whales, as they're known, pull and push the levers that decide where the market goes. Right now they want the price down, so we see an increase in early end stakes, infighting amongst Hexicans, and the launch of new controversial products like Hydron. Along with a delay in Pulse launch, it seems all these components of the storyline are being written live and passed out to the best Hexican performers in real time. The ultimate goal, I think, is to drive the price down to a more attractive level so that newcomers can be easier to onboard in preparation for the Pulse launch, which I believe is likely already... Pulse is already ready, but the team's waiting for the most opportune time to launch. Now, I love a good conspiracy as much as the next guy, but again, if a project garners any doubt as to controlling mechanisms of how the token is supposed to perform, then just know you are entering someone else's casino. And as we know, a casino is always tipped in the house's favour. In the case of Hex, the house is those that got in very early, and the same is very likely to happen with Pulse. Now, to be fair, let's zoom out a bit. I was not early into Hex, but I have staked, and I do anticipate that once the powers that be are ready to launch Pulse, the Hex price will inflate. This will provide for a new wave of Hexicans to start to feel rich, and that's when they will start to tell their mates. In many of these crypto projects, people are encouraged to become obsessed with their holdings. It's much easier to become obsessed, however, with a person, especially over the long term, than it is with some digits on the screen. And I think that's Richard's role. But from where I'm sitting, he sure as shit isn't the only king of the Hexicans. I've identified at least 12 individuals that I believe make up and control the OA, the origin address, or at least collectively can have an impact on the market. These individuals use market maker bots and community indoctrination to play the market like a well-tuned instrument. And if you want to learn how to play their instrument, you can too. But you should know that you are contributing little to nothing to the world by taking money off of some people and simply moving it to other people. From people you don't know, people that you only know as a number on a screen, and transferring it to people you know personally or might even like. Encouraging them to essentially lock their coins up and throw away the key with a promise that they will be worth more in the future. If you think you can time any markets in crypto, you are fooling yourself. without a seat at the big boys' table, you are just gambling. And that's fine. I couldn't give a fuck what you do. But we will see plenty more of this type of crypto financial alchemy in the near future. And it will do you a service to learn when you are being manipulated and when you are doing the manipulating. Crypto markets are only efficient to those who built the products and invited their mates to join early. Everyone, absolutely everyone who joins later is either willingly or not knowingly having their bags raided in order to bring perceived value to the project's token. And as with celebrity Instagram accounts, it's not untypical for 80% of the followers to be bought and paid for from a service provider, with just 20% or less being real fans. I'd say 80% or more of Hex, like any crypto project's volume or activity of any nature, is inflated using service providers such as market makers and trading bots. And you're going to say, but Tom, mate, who wouldn't want free money if it was guaranteed? Well, I've thought about that, and my response would be probably the person who thinks it's strange to talk someone out of their hard-earned penger and have them lock it up in someone else's safe place. If you get rich with Hex, then that's your bag. But congratulating someone for partaking in this sort of unadulterated, lazy scheme and getting rich from it while contributing literally nothing to the broader society, well, honestly, mate, it smells like the beginning of the financialization of everything, including each other. And that's going to very likely turn many of us into monsters among men. How do I come to that conclusion, you ask? Because the love of money is the root of all evil. And what makes the heart grow fonder? Absence.